something like that don't fly out of the machine. So that's one aspect of it. The other thing is this is your rotation right here. Your tools are stationary in this tool post. Your material is going to be held here. So if I go here, we're going to show you this little trick quick. So this is your chuck key, which will open and close your 3-jaw chuck. So these are all together, all these jaws move with just one of the turns of this, and it will basically automatically center. So if I want to hold a piece of material, I would just put this in there, stick it out the predetermined amount that I want, and snug that down, and now we have a piece of work in the chuck. And again, the way the lathe works is that material will spin and our tool is stationary, and that's where we're going to go and peel that material off or face it off or groove it or drill it or whatever we want to do. So that's all going to happen with the rotation of the spindle. So safety wise, again, you know, your dangerous point in this machine realistically is maybe the sharp tool that you have in your on your tool post and the rotation of the spindle. You know, keep your fingers out of there. And another simple, very simple safety one is this key here. Just imagine if I were to start that spindle right now, what would happen? That is bad news. So never, never, ever leave your key in the chuck. Always take that chuck key and keep it kind of in your hand. When you're done tightening it, just take it and set the key back in the cart where it goes, so there's no chance of that accidentally happening. So it's kind of a rookie error that you'll see sometimes, and you don't want to be around that. So otherwise, one other thing to note is on the machine here as it's running, sometimes people forget that there's rotation happening down below here as well. So this here is the feed rod, and then we have our lead screw on there as well. Sometimes the lead screw is also spinning. So you have rotation down there. You want to watch out with clothing. You don't want to have big baggy clothing on a lathe of any sort, because if that's hanging over and you know your long tail of your shirt gets wrapped up in that, that is a bad, bad day. So watch out for that rotation that happens down below here. And also watch out for the back of the spindle. There is times where you maybe have an attachment or something on here. This is another danger point. On the lathe, the spindle is actually hollow. You can see it or not, but that goes all the way through the headstock, and that goes up into our chuck. So another dangerous thing that can happen, I've seen happen on lathes before, is when you hang work all the way through the headstock and it's protruding too far. So that can be a serious issue, just because that material can start whipping. And I've seen it before where material's been hanging out too far and it was spun at too high of an RPM, and it actually turned 90 degrees and sheared off and literally went flying. So the lathe isn't that dangerous, but it is if you're not paying attention to a little bit of common sense as you're using it. So otherwise, that's a little bit of a once over. We'll go into this more in depth, but I just want to give you a little bit of a highlight of the machine. So thank you.